Hey, welcome back to A Conversation With. My name is Philip DeFranco, and today we are having a conversation with Safiya Nygaard and Tyler Williams. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I started this whole podcast not wanting to do doubles, and I've found that I've actually enjoyed them more and more each time, though the last time we had a double, it was the Nailogicals, fresh actually from your wedding.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Nailogical.
Mr. and Mr. Well, I called him Ben Logical, and he's like, you can just call me Ben. I was like, no, it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
No, Ben Logical is a good name, yeah.
Also, hello, Ben. I know that you watch the premieres of these each time. I love to see you mock me every episode. Oh, yeah. He just hops in.
Ben is such a troll.
Oh, yes. Okay, so that's not a secret.
No.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
To start things off, if someone somehow doesn't know who you guys are, how would you describe that in like 30 to 60 seconds?
Oh, crap. The timer's on.
Also, yeah. I just say that because sometimes...
Now.
Yeah. We make videos about, well, our tagline is beauty, style, and weirdness. But I would say we make videos about like beauty, fashion, trends, history, and shopping/marketing.
Yeah.
Consumerism?
There's a lot of like
online shopping.
investigative stuff that's in
Yeah.
there. Like the weirdness thing at times will expand and get like a bigger portion of the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
But we try to like add like an investigative tone to a lot of stuff, and that can include the history and like the research and like the tea. You know, like what's the algorithm doing, or what's it trying to, like, you know?
Yeah.
what
I
are
will
they
say,
doing?
I will say, when you guys buy things off of Instagram ads, that is genuinely, from a marketing standpoint, so fascinating as far as like how they're able to figure you out to a scary degree sometimes, and then sometimes just random.
And sometimes random, yeah. They also started giving you like more information, like why am I seeing this ad? Like since we've made those videos, which would have been helpful for those videos, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And why do you think that you focus on that kind of genre? What kind of drew you to it?
I think it's honestly mostly what I'm interested in watching. You know what I mean? Like
and just kind of having the hope that someone else is interested in the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was sort of what happened with our like soap art video last year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really into like fancy soaps, you know, like the sort of hand milled soaps at like Whole Foods and stuff like that. And I always spend like 5 to 10 minutes like smelling them. You know what I mean? Just like standing there and smelling them. And I was like, I wonder if other people experience this. So then we tried to like make like artistic soap, you know?
Yeah.
It was fun.
What is the trick with smells? Because I feel like if I ever go into a shop and I smell something, I can only smell the one thing for the rest of the time. Is there like a reset? Is it
I'm sure
coffee
people
or
have
something like that?
Oh yeah, coffee is a good one.
Something like that, yeah.
Like a nasal cleanser.
It's
Not a palette, is
No,
it?
yeah,
They get stuck in your nose hairs. You
Yeah.
know, like if
Is
you
that- okay,
smell
so that's
too
what it
many
is.
things, like it's hard to reset.
I don't think it actually gets stuck in your
No,
nose
not
hairs.
actually.
I think it's like
You know what I'm saying?
metaphorical nose hairs.
Like we did a video where we melted all the candles from Bath and Body Works together, and so we went to like a like candle dude to smell it, because like then he could like, because we kept on smelling it and there was just so many different scents, like we couldn't pinpoint it. So we went to him and he like sniffed it and he tried to give us his taste. He like swatched it on his hand and stuff. It was very official. But so like what I'm trying to say is that when you kind of get them all lodged in your sinuses, you lose all perspective.
Yeah. It makes me feel incredibly stupid. It's kind of to the degree of like if you go to the optometrist and they're like 1 or 2, and I'm just like, I'm failing this. I'm failing this.
I hate that. I hate eye tests. Because
And
I'm like, I know I can't do this. Just give me them. Like, give me my prescription and let me leave.
Yeah.
I'm so neurotic about it because I got LASIK about a month ago, and so they gave me one of those eye tests right before, and I was stressed out. I was like, if I mess this up, they're gonna mess up my eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so for the first week, when I just had a laser in my eye and it's still healing, the left one was a little different. I was like, I fucked up. I fucked up. This is my life. And then no, it's
And
just
then it's fine.
a
Yeah.
regular
Okay.
healing process. But I was just like, I'm gonna mess this up.
Yeah, no, that's scary. LASIK seems scary.
There's like an Arrested Development bit where like George Michael gets like really stressed in his tests, and he keeps on saying the wrong thing because he keeps second guessing himself, and then he like can't read the board anymore. So then that's the nightmare. But there was also like a beer commercial years ago where the guy purposefully got it wrong.
Oh, really?
So he could see double of everything, and then it cuts to him like at the beach, and he's like, "Yeah, Bud Light."
I will say.
What?
No, it's like he was like purposely trying to get like two.
So you could see like more ladies on the beach?
That was the bit.
Okay, got it.
That was it.
More butts.
That was the
Double
whole
the
thing.
butts.
This
I
was
was
like
like-
2004. Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like 2000 to 2010 advertising. They're like, more butts is more, buy it.
Dude, I want this beer.
More butts is more good.
I will say LASIK looks scarier than it actually is having it done.
Really?
Watching the video of it being done to me is more horrifying than the actual experience
Were
was.
you awake?
Yeah. So essentially, you go in. They give you a ton of numbing drops. If you're anxious like I was, they'll give you like a Xanax or something like it.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I was like,
sign me
I was
up.
like,
Right.
but I had never had it before, and so I was like, what should I expect? And they're like, you're just gonna calm down. That's it. You're just not gonna. How you're freaking out. You're just not gonna do that. And then it only took 10 minutes. It's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the problem is everyone can say it's so easy. When I said I was going to get it done, everyone's like, dude, you're going to love it. It's so easy. Horrifying. The sound of it is horrifying, but you get past it.
I'm scared.
I'm
I don't
scared
even
too.
have the surgery planned, and I'm already scared.
Do you have contacts?
We both wear contacts, yeah.
How bad are they?
Tyler's worse than me, but we're both not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.5 in both, I think.
Yeah.
It's not like way out there. You know, there are people with like -7. It's like, okay, I can't.
Oh yeah.
That's
I was
really.
-5 and -5.5 or -6. And so it's just the only difference when they can go up to like a -10 as far as what they fix.
Yeah.
And then it just might take a little longer to heal since your eyes are so messed up. I made the very horrible mistake of a week after going, oh yeah, we can totally do a Vegas trip, and it's the driest, smokiest place on the planet, and I could not see. I couldn't see for about a day. And
How long after the surgery was it?
about a week.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God.
Yeah.
And then just pumping that fake air in there as they're trying to get you to gamble more.
Yeah, exactly.
bad reaction
And you're
to
just
your
like,
eyes.
yeah, it's like oxygen shots like through your eyeball. You're like,
It worked out for me though. It was the first time I ever left like a blackjack table in 30 minutes while I was still up. So I was like, this worked out. I was like, because it was just that unmanageable at that time. I
stop
was
you
like,
from gambling.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're gonna take this win. That's what we're gonna roll with.
That's like the time I lost my wallet. I had to I was gambling. I was like, okay, I have to go now. I have to go look for my wallet. So
Oh, yeah.
It
I remember
saves you.
that.
it was, it was not a great time to lose my wallet. It was in Vegas. I was a little buzzed,
Tyler hulked out of his shirt because he was
my
like,
shirt.
I can't find my wallet.
For real?
It was like a Red Bull vodka night, like everything's just weird and disoriented,
I like it wasn't even for a bit. You were just like, I'm
No.
feeling
Oh, no.
this.
No, yeah, this was before we were even really on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah,
like
yeah.
around that time. Like we were not filming. This was just completely spontaneous.
Dude, it's like you lose your wallet in Vegas sucks,
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, so.
I get it. So something that I wanted to do today is I wanted to essentially play. I don't know if we can call it the Newlywed Game. It's not the Newlywed Game.
Is that
because
like trademarked,
who
copyrighted?
knows?
Oh, yeah.
I have to just imagine everyone wants to sue me, so I'm just protecting myself. And so as soon as you guys came in, I did that really fun thing of saying, "Hey, here's 15 minutes of work. Nice to meet you." And you guys filled out answers to 14 questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm holding yours because this is such a last-minute idea on my part. I didn't even print out the questions for myself. And so, are you ready to play?
Yes. I want to preface it by saying that I don't think I did a good job,
No.
and I don't think that I'm going to get any of them right. Because I feel like the questions were hard.
There- no,
There's
yeah.
some I honestly couldn't think of. I think there's one where I literally just left question marks. I think we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when it gets there.
No, they're meaty questions. We're not going to do well, but, we're going to roll the punches here.
Yeah.
Well, wait, how long have you guys been together?
Since August 2014.
Yeah.
2014. See, that's the thing, though, is it's 6 years. It's
Yeah.
not, that's a lot.
These are hard questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think it's indicative
One of the questions
of...
was about like a date. I was like, when was the last time we went on a date? Like we're just together like 24/7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
No.
it's like if we go somewhere, it's not like a date. It's like no, we are doing something together. You know
I'm
what
interested in
saying?
what your answers are going to be, to be
Okay.
honest. Like,
That's-
I'm
I
curious to
would-
be what
yeah,
you're going to
me too.
say,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the date questions in general, it's a very early relationship question. Or for me, because I understand the whole you just like go places. Now having 2 kids, it is 1,000% a date.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
there
like
you
we
go.
planned that
Yeah.
shit because we get locked. So
I got to double check my
first
answers.
question is, what adjective best describes you on your wedding night?
Night
Or day, sorry.
Wedding night.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was that different of a question.
We see what kind of salacious interview this is
just
now.
just
Phil.
coming in. Just hit you from the side.
Yeah, what best adjective describes Safiya on your day? Okay, I wrote teary-ish plus many things. Because I know it's a cop-out, but it's like, it was a long day.
covering your bases.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
But-
a lot of adjectives.
So,
Yeah.
I think that like when we did like our first look was the first time I was like directly interacting with Safiya on the day, and she was like,
Yeah, I did cry a fair amount. That's
yeah,
fair. That
but
is
it wasn't
fair.
like a negative cry, but it was definitely like it was an emotional day.
Yeah.
I don't want to write emotional, but tough. Like it was a physical act. She cried a few
I
times.
would say I was teetering on the edge of tears for like most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like,
I would say many things because like later I was gonna write boogieing because we got a lot of dancing in. We had
Yeah.
like some good dancing.
Boogieing.
Boogieing.
Boogie.
Boogie E.
The adjective.
Okay.
Boogie-ish.
There you go.
Boogie-esque.
Boogie-esque.
Are you
Yeah.
are you a couple that's always liked to dance?
I
Or-
think we're okay at it.
Well, I'm not saying are you good at it.
Oh,
will
oh,
you
oh,
do
oh.
it? Because I've definitely
Yeah,
had
yeah.
I've had friends where it's like one loves to dance, the other one, and it's like, oh, that's not gonna be great.
We surprise ourselves, I think, sometimes with the dancing because like it's not like we're always like it depends on like time and moment, but like
Yeah.
when the stars have aligned, we've broken it down.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I agree.
there was pride in that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that we're pretty, like, once again, I don't think we're like great dancers,
No.
but we will.
Sure.
We will do it.
We have a few solid moves. We have like a few things we'll like go
We
to.
have a couple bits.
Yeah. Like we're like our, we'll kind of like our heads will go in directions.
Yeah,
and
we've
stuff.
got some coordinated stuff.
I was like, was that the move?
It's kind of It's
That's part of it.
I was like Thriller-esque.
Yeah, a little.
There's no hands.
Okay.
But it's
Imagine the Thriller dance, but done only with your nose.
that's kind of it. That's kind of it.
Not a bad description
And
of one of our moves.
Sometimes it's like opposites. Like we'll go one direction, she goes the other direction. Sometimes
Yeah.
we go the
Oh,
same
okay.
direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we mix it up in the same round. Stuff like that.
As long as it's if it's there's symmetry there, then you get points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Love it. So then, okay. So next question. I think we're all.
So
on
I
this-
think we don't get any points. Right?
no, 0 points.
0 points.
What do you mean? It's my podcast. You got a point. You're
Yeah.
leaving winners.
This is like a whose line is it anyway, right? Where something and the points don't matter.
Oh yeah.
What's the first part of the tagline?
I haven't seen it
Where something
forever.
happens and the points don't matter.
That's
Yeah.
the tagline.
something, and the points don't matter.
You really know this show. I'm glad you brought it up.
So this one is going to be the same question, but what best described Tyler on your wedding day?
Okay.
So do I answer?
You can go first,
Do I go
yeah.
first?
Yeah,
Okay,
what do
I
you
always
think?
go first.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah.
think?
All right, I'm always gonna. Okay, so when I answered what adjective best describes Tyler on your wedding day with the adjective excited,
Excited.
smiley face.
Well,
So you just said both of us were excited.
I didn't want to. Yep. Yes.
well, what I said was buzzing plus a little hungover. Mm-hmm. I think like buzzing, I mean more like I was like a busy bee. I was like, because I was like bouncing around a lot.
That's true.
To be fair, I was
There's a lot of
excited.
stuff to do
Yeah.
Oh really?
on your wedding day. There's a lot of stuff.
I was like, I barely had anything to do.
Oh. Well,
I was maybe I was lucky. Yeah. What all did you guys have to do?
Well, so I think like we were doing because we had like the cinematographers there, so we were like checking in here and there. We also kind of like we both did a lot of the work for like the decorations and stuff. So we are kind of like checking in to make sure like everything was looking okay and stuff.
I'd say it's just maybe like the producers in us where we were like,
Yeah.
how's it going? What's going on? How
Yeah.
are we doing? And I'm sure like everyone who was like, like all of the vendors were like, stop, like leave us alone. Go hang out with each other, you weirdos. So
Well, like we had said, like the whole objective was to not pick up a camera, right?
but
like
of
there's
course that made it like
strong
almost like
inkling.
more anxious where we were like, so all good? We all good over here?
Well-
how's it going?
They're like, don't be the people that you've been for the past few years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I kind of feel like your answer does kind of reflect the combination of mine because like to start the day we were supposed to like meet up with like the people that were doing my hair and like the cinematographers at our house, and I kind of like woke up a little hungover and I was like, okay, I gotta get to the venue, I gotta get there because we don't drink a lot. And it was a rehearsal dinner, and so I was like,
That's
And then,
right.
yeah, there was a Sixers game on. So Tyler,
oh, that was what it was.
Tyler and his groomsmen were like drinking in the corner and yelling at a phone. I was
No,
like,
it was,
okay.
they blew a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. It was a disaster. It was funny because my groomsman's girlfriend was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Like watching me lose it on like the rehearsal dinner night. He's like, okay, you're normal. But I was excited, but I was also like bouncing around a lot, and so I forgot the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
They texted me. They're like, "Are you at your house?" And I was like, "No, I'm at the venue." And they're like, "Okay, good. We thought you left."
I thought you ran.
Yeah.
How long did it take to like figure out? I'm trying to think of how the way to say it. The whole wedding, I mean, looked gorgeous, like the Starry Night
Oh, thank
theme,
you.
and then even especially when it switched over, looked just gorgeous. So you guys were actually like fully involved with that. You didn't have
Well, we had like a planner. Like
Yeah,
we definitely
okay.
couldn't do it on our own. Because
Okay, I
also
was
there's
like-
so many aspects of like a wedding where it's like a very like it's an industry that's very established.
Yeah.
So like it's a lot about like who knows all the vendors and like who knows how to get to like who gets the best like get you the best deals and stuff, because it's a little bit like a used car sales thing where it's like if you walk into like a wedding vendor place, they're like, well, our price is this, You know what I mean? So like just because like it's
Yeah.
when you are planning a wedding, you're not sure like how much things are supposed to cost.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like all of that logistical stuff, like we definitely needed a planner, like
Unless you're-
hands
yeah.
down.
Unless you're a knowledgeable buyer.
Unless you're a knowledgeable buyer
get
and you
half.
have like
I'm
the
not, yeah.
time to like do the research. So we definitely had a planner and she was super helpful both with that aspect and also with like the execution stuff.
Yeah.
But we were very much like in the weeds, I would say, like picking out stuff. You know what I mean? Like we went to the warehouse in Glendale and saw the table settings and
Right.
like changed things out and stuff like that.
I think that made it more fun.
yeah,
You know,
it,
like
was, it was really fun.
There is like a there's a lot of like reveal components to weddings, like traditionally, like, oh, like you won't see the bride's dress until the day and stuff. But we were kind of in lockstep the whole time. So it made it more of like a collaborative effort. And that was like, that was probably more fun because, you know, we kind of had a vision that we could share. And so it felt like a sort of more of like a pure celebration in that regard of like, this is a fun thing, that,
Yeah.
a party we're throwing for our friends and family
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's the way
I agree.
we wanted it to feel as well.
Yeah.
Love it. So this question is, where did you share your first kiss?
On the balcony of my apartment.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah, the balcony of Tyler's old apartment. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it had you guys like gone on a date? What was
So I think the like sort of infamous story of Tyler and I's courtship is that Tyler took me on what I interpreted to be a date to Disneyland, but he did not interpret it to be a date. And so he didn't make a move at Disneyland, and I was like objectively offended.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to use.
And so like 2 days later, he like threw a party at his apartment, and then you know the move was made on the balcony.
What? I didn't want to use
2 days
Disneyland.
after our first date.
I didn't want to use Disneyland for the powers of evil, right? It was. I didn't want to use it to be like a
Like, as his
a
move.
you know, like because like I used to work at Disney,
Yeah.
so I used to get like the free ticket thing.
So you
And
could
I-
like take people to Disney, like
so
for
I
free.
didn't-
Yeah.
And Soph was like, let's go to Disneyland. So I didn't want it to be like I wanted to like.
I did not initiate. You asked me.
I asked you, but I was. It was, but it was also like a little bit like you know. I was like, let's see if we can hang out for a long time. We were like friends at the time, so you don't want to like jump into something. You want to do like that. Can we hang out for 10, 12 hours in a row? And then
That's
I didn't
true.
want it. And
A
then you're
Disneyland
like,
day is like a long day. You know what I'm saying?
wait, because if you're not compatible,
But
At
we- what-
Disneyland,
what kind
yeah.
of what kind of Disneyland day was it? Did you have fast passes? Was that a thing at that time, or were you in lines together having to like be side by side?
a little bit of both, because it's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that strategic fast pass thing
Okay.
where like, you know, at Disney, like you put your thing in, they give you one at a time. So there was like the planning, there's all the stops, right? You have to
we
plan
got
together.
there like at like we don't do this anymore. When we go to Disneyland now, we go at like 9 p.m. for like an hour. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying?
yeah.
But like I think we like showed up on like a Saturday at like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
and we're like, we're gonna be here all day. We're gonna do everything everything we want to do. Because that was the first time I'd been to Disneyland since like 2000.
Right.
So Tyler was like, we'll do it big.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't trying to, I mean, at that point, you're hanging out for like 12 hours. When's the move come? Like, oh, hey, now's the moment. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird.
I
So
think on the drive home. I think when you're dropping me off.
Oh, but even I gotta like do the thing where I like lean over for the first kiss. You're like, what is he doing? And then if you reject me, it's like, whoa, okay, see ya. You know, like, so you gotta wait till that last moment in the car. Yeah, exactly.
I love that you're like so concerned that Disneyland was that intoxicating. You're like, oh, but
I
it
think it's
wouldn't
because
be,
he'd
it wouldn't be a
probably-
real kiss if
probably
it happened at
because-
Disneyland.
He'd probably used it on girls before.
No. Powers of evil. I hadn't. No. Listen, I'm not trying to name names. I had a buddy who had, you know, like where like that was one of his moves. Like they would go and they would, you know, they'd make out or something. I don't know. It's kind of a really kiddie place to make out, you know.
No, it's romantic.
I don't know. I mean,
You got
what
engaged
but
there.
I know. I'm just saying. It's not my. I just don't. I didn't want to. I hadn't ever, and I didn't want to use it as like a pickup spot. So it was a balcony. It wasn't super romantic.
That's fair. I mean, there's like a whole party of like recently graduated college kids,
Okay.
like
It
right
was a beer pong
inside.
party.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
yeah,
a beer
yeah,
pong
yeah,
party.
yeah,
It was pretty lit, actually. It was a pretty good party. we all had like coffee like right before it, so we were all like fired up and having a good time. Yeah.
So wait, is that why Disney is like meaningful for you guys? Because I think you guys have referred to yourselves as Disneyland fanatics. Is that yeah?
Yeah. I would say a fair amount of like when we first started dating, we spent a lot of time at Disneyland. Yeah.
And so is that why you proposed there?
Yeah, I think that we had a lot of really good early dates there. It's like it was a meaningful place for us because we also have this fake date, but also like that like we do go there a lot, you know. And I think when you
Yeah.
live in LA and you have like that season pass thing, it's just a park.
Sure.
Just kind of go there, you walk around. You know, it was meaningful to me because I used to work there, so it was kind of like a place that had some sentimental value. Also, yeah, I don't know.
All right. So next question: name a celebrity that Safiya has a crush on?
It's Suga from BTS.
That's not a bad answer.
That's not a bad answer. Who is it then?
I do kind of have a little bit of a crush on
Yeah.
him. There's no question. What I wrote down was any celebrity that I think looks like Tyler at the moment.
Oh.
We're like, whenever we watch TV, I'm like, oh, like in front of Tyler, like that guy's kind of cute. He kind of looks like you.
Yeah.
And I'll just, and that's like sort of my new barometer.
So who would have been one of the last people then?
We were just watching this Amazon Originals show about like, well, what is it called?
It's called All or Nothing. It's about
like a
a season for a
unscripted
team
football
in the
show.
NFL.
Yeah.
And it's about the Eagles this season. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm like a pretty like hardcore Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a backup quarterback who apparently has
What's
the
his
same.
name again?
His name's Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's got like a big head with like a sort of strong jaw. And I think like that's like Tyler's like I think that's like the Williams family like defining features, like big head, strong jaw, like high cheekbones. And I was like, and he was kind of like also doing this thing that I think Tyler does where he was like pepping up like the main quarterback and he's like, you got this, you're doing well. And I was like, he's kind of cute. I think he looks like you.
This was last night. Yeah. He also like might have a little bit of a bulbous head.
Yeah, it's
which is
bulbous
also
head.
a trademark
Bulbous head.
of my head. It's like I tried to do like the like Adam Levine high and tight in like 2013 when everyone was doing it. And like the lady was like buzzing the side of my head. She's like, your head's weird.
Tyler has like a marginally bulbous head.
Yeah, that's why
But
when
it
do the
happens
clips,
to me sometimes where like I won't even like think a guy's cute, and then I'll like see a picture where they kind of look like Tyler, and then I'll be like, no, he's cute. This happened to me with Colton, who was the Bachelor like 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find him attractive at all until there was like one picture he posted on Instagram, like from the side, where like this part of his face, was visible, and I was like, I think that he looks great.
So like just familiarity with what you've imprinted.
Yeah,
of
yes,
him,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
very like weird, subtle attributes.
Now that said, I don't think that Suga from BTS really looks like you.
No.
But he's got like kind of like a bad boy thing going, which is like
Yeah.
a different vibe.
A different vibe. Yeah. He's our bias
Yeah.
in BTS. That's like that's the phraseology for
Yeah.
K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was like, what was it with BTS? I forget who's essentially the most popular one.
whoa. This is
Ooh.
dicey.
I'm not gonna answer that question.
I plead the fifth here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're like, I don't want ARMY in my tweets.
A lot of them are popular.
But there was something I use one specifically.
You put Jimin in the thumbnails.
I love it. You're like, that's who, and I tune in to see what they do.
Jimin is very
I was
recognizable.
gonna give you a recommendation on this as well because Jungkook is also very popular.
That's true.
His nickname is the Golden Maknae.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
he's like he's the youngest member of the group, and apparently he's fast or something. Like he's good at
really
track
fast.
competitions.
Oh, okay.
And so
That's
this
not
is
his defining
significant.
feature, but to Tyler, that's what stands out.
Because I've used him in the thumbnail multiple times, and so people are always like, yeah, you have a bias there, but obviously he's saying it in like a positive way, and I've just been very upfront saying I literally Googled who's the most popular member of BTS.
Ooh, all right. Well, that's
And-
Google.
and so-
Google's
and so-
about-
and so I was like,
Google
hey.
is about to get canceled by the armies.
Google's done. We're all going back to Bing. Sorry.
Deflecting the blame.
Yeah.
Name a celebrity that Tyler has a crush on.
So I said Joy from Red Velvet.
And I answered Joy from Red Velvet. And this actually is very similar to her answer.
Yes.
It's because I think she looks like Safiya.
I don't really see it, but
They're both like similar heights or something, like, and then they have long dark hair. So I'm like, oh, they look alike, and she just reminds me of Safiya, and I think that's why it's
she
also
looks a lot taller than the other members in her
Yeah.
group, which is I think sort of in Tyler's mind like cements her as like looking like
I'm
me.
very fascinated by the idea of you being very attracted to someone that looks like the person you're already with, because when Lindsay and I play this game, it's polar opposite.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like-
I think that like since we've started dating, my tastes have like changed to be like pretty much guys who remind me of Tyler, basically.
Sure.
Like in some way, either like mannerisms, mostly facial structure though.
Right.
Like mostly large head, strong jaw.
there's a dynamic of
Bulbous head.
She's like, if that jaw was weak, this would not be happening.
look, there's a dynamic of like, guilt-free can talk about your crush then too. That you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's
oh yeah,
true.
Joy looks great today, and you're like, well, she looks like you. You get away with
Because they always rubber band back to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then, because, we spend so much time together. I don't have like my guy friend go grab a drink. Let's go out there. Like XYZ person, looks hot in the new trailer for Marvel movie,
Sure.
Can't do that as much. So I gotta, we've adapted. So it's like, okay, hey, she's cute, not doing anything wrong here, right? Okay, so for Safiya's best and worst habits, or best trait, worst habit, I said, Saf is always down to chat. And she's always on is her sort of like her bad trait. She's like always,
that's a good one actually.
Thinking about things we got to work on. Saf doesn't like.
I don't turn off my work brain very well.
Okay, so like, do you find yourself kind of just staring off sometimes, or staring down and just like processing?
It'll be more like Tyler's like literally taking a bath, and I'll be like, all right, we need to add this to our task list. Like, let's do this, let's do that. And he's like, I'm literally in the bath. I cannot do that.
Yeah. I'm a bath guy. So
yeah, Tyler's a bath bro.
But always down for a chat.
Yeah.
Saf, I mean, like that is.
I like that you wrote a 2 like as a number.
It's so lame.
Saving space. Saving space.
That was my thought. It wasn't like a down to chat. It wasn't a too fast, too furious thing.
It reminds me of like an AIM like sort of byline. Always down to chat.
Yeah, there's something very like knots about it. Yeah. No, but I mean, like that was like when we said like we were friends before we started, making out. It was like we were like, because we would just hang out and talk like really long periods of time. Like going to like Disney was like really easy. And so, yeah, and that still sort of persists to this day. I'm a chatty Cathy. Is that what it is?
Tyler's a chatty Cathy.
I don't shut up. Yeah, so
no, he doesn't.
It's good that she likes to talk.
Actually, the famous story about Tyler is that as a baby, before he could talk, he would like imitate a conversation with just gibberish. Like he would like try and hold a conversation with people,
I love that.
Speaking gibberish and like sort of gesticulating his hands,
like
trying to like get involved in a conversation.
Ciceronian rhetoric. I mean,
Yeah.
And by famous, it's
Mimicking
like
speech patterns and stuff.
by famous is like my dad. For him, it's something he brings up. But yeah, I think it was like because like I actually like have like very very faint recollection to like really when I was like a super gub, and it's just like that like my mom, my dad have like very distinct mannerisms, and I think I was just like imitating them.
Yeah, also apparently when Tyler did learn how to talk, he like sat on like a 6-hour plane flight to Hawaii next to a stranger and talked to them about sharks the entire way. For like a 4-year-old just went on like a rant about sharks for 6 hours.
She must have hated me.
Yeah. I was like, as the person
Shut up.
Yeah, I was like, the person that didn't have to listen to that, that's amazing.
Oh, that's cute. And she's like, get him off the plane. We have to get this motherfucking kid off this motherfucking plane.
So what did you think?
Okay, I wrote, I would like to hear what Tyler has to say.
That is awful.
I couldn't think of anything.
These are good ones, man.
I couldn't think of anything that I do.
These are good ones.
Those were good ones.
Yeah, no, you gotta try.
I couldn't like look at myself like from an outside perspective. I was just like I couldn't do it. I couldn't achieve self-awareness.
Do you find yourself not ever thinking about like looking in the mirror
evaluating
and
myself? Yeah, no, not that much.
It's about the output.
Yeah,
Like what am I?
It's about the
throwing out there?
product.
Yeah.
I think that is
I mean, it's not good, but I think that's how I'm living my life right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge you.
I would prefer to be otherwise, but
Yeah. No, I think it's like when you're on like such a grind, you kind of lose. You almost like lose the inner monologue a little bit.
yes,
Like I noticed that.
Not even just the inner monologue, but also like the how not the how am I doing, but like the like how am I doing in like approaching things and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like how can I improve as a being? You know, it's more like how can I get this done? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had what you would call a break? Because it feels like your life is, even though it's not a vlog in any way, right? It feels like your life is very much a big part of the product. Like you go to Japan. We're making Japan videos. We're getting married.
Yeah.
We have the dance. We have the.
We actually have taken a break really recently.
Really?
We took some time off in January. We did it last year. And what I would sort of say is that when we do take a break, we almost like correct so strong to the other way. It's not introspective. It's not meta. It's like
It's potato.
play
Yeah.
Pokemon and watch like the late seasons of The Office, because we got just put something on for like 2 weeks. Like we that's what we did last time. We played Pokemon all day for like 2 weeks, just turned off the brain. So it's not like a evaluation thing. It's not like a climb to the top of a mountain and like look and think about yourself type thing.
I would say if there's any time for introspection, it's like the 2 hours after we upload, where we're like feeling a little okay to not have to immediately be working on the next video.
Right.
And we're like, how was that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the feeling.
Yeah,
But,
probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why
but
this game is hard. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything. As long as you have other stuff going. I don't think going full potato is a negative thing. I think of it in the sense of like you're defragging, because sometimes you almost got to you have to go the polar opposite. I think the only time it gets scary is when you're like, I'd almost rather be full potato all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because when I had my 4 or 5 week break in December or January, I was like, I don't know if I can come back. I had like a week where I was like, what if I just stop? No, I love what I do. I'd lose who I was if I didn't come back.
It's
I
like
get that.
the being jealous of your cat.
Oh my God, so jealous.
So
of
like, there's like a
cat.
mug that we have where someone sent us that's like, I work hard so my cat can have a good life. And you're like, dude, that's true.
That's
I'm like,
so
look at it, like
true.
we just got a new couch and it's like, I love the couch. It's very comfortable. So like you sit on it, you're gonna sleep on it. And that cat just is like holed up on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you bastard. Like
Yeah.
things are so good for you right now.
Or he's been sleeping under our covers because it's really warm, obviously. But I think it's a new habit he's developed. But it's like I think he's just discovered it for the first time. So he just stays in our bed all day long.
Which is like really, you're getting up, you're waking up, we look in the bed, the cat's still there, and you're like,
what?
can you get up? Just show me like a little effort right now.
Can you do
And they're
something
like,
today?
and they're like, but why? But why though?
That's what he's thinking all day. Well, he was a stray. He had like a pretty crappy life. So
Yeah.
him having like the ultimate
Oh,
retirement
yeah.
is dope.
Yeah.
Like that is a rewarding feeling. It's like, dude, our cat has a good life.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping all day, So
What is Tyler's best trait and worst habit? And you're gonna
Okay.
go, yeah.
So for what's Tyler's best trait and worst habit, I wrote, best trait is that he's very determined and loyal. And his worst habit is that he leaves socks and paper towels everywhere.
Oh.
And he does not leave laptops on the charger. He leaves laptops open, not on the
I was like, I
charger,
wanna see
so
this.
they die. And so I walk up to a laptop and it is dead.
did you write that whole thing at the end there?
Oh, look, there's a lot of text.
Very.
My
It's like, here's the
handwriting
good
got
thing.
Saf is pissed about this. No,
my handwriting did get small at the end. I was
take-
like running out of space.
you didn't do it too.
Continued on back.
You want to be us? Yeah. No. I take issue with the socks point because I've been trying to get better with that one actually. You're not sensing that?
I think she's like, the
I
keywords
appreciate the
try.
effort.
No, I think that the laptop thing is legit.
The laptop thing is probably worse.
That's annoying me
because
these
the thing
days.
about the socks and the paper towels is like I could pick it up, but for the laptop, it's like, where is the charger? How did you walk away from it? Why did you leave it open? Close the laptop. Sorry, that's it.
I'm glad you had this moment to let it out.
This is therapy.
tell him
This
to
is
his
couples
face.
therapy.
That's what I've realized every time someone's on. They're like, oh, okay.
I tell
We're
this to his
unloading.
face though a lot, so
Yeah, it's not a good look for me.
maybe I'm just hoping for some third party validation.
Come
here, I
on,
think.
Phil. I can just leave my shit everywhere, right?
I was like, I definitely do the socks and the towels thing, but it's all cluttered in my closet. Right. So then I'll just,
Oh, that's not bad.
at the end of the week, I'll be like, oh, there are my 5 towels.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
we both do that.
So
All
let's see if you guessed.
My best trait thing I thought was backup QB, and I wrote, I talk a lot is my worst trait. Backup QB basically because that show we were just talking about, where it's like the dude's like just clapping. He's like really positive, and like I'm just kind of like very like
The hype guy.
hype guy kind of person, and like it's like when you're in like super jet lagged in Japan, it's like okay, we got this, we got this, and then I'm a chatty Cathy. So I talk a lot. So if you're on a plane
Yeah, see,
to
the
Hawaii
laptops
with
aren't on
me-
his mind. Doesn't think about them.
Because he knows everything's going to be okay. As long as we got a positive attitude, we're great.
all good.
The thing with the idea of like the backup QB and like the positive, it's such a incredibly fine line of, okay, you're so positive, it feels fake and it's almost annoying, and someone that'll drag you down. So it's like that fine, but based off of our limited interactions, it feels like you're hitting that sweet spot.
No, Tyler is like good at pep up speeches, I
Yeah.
would say. For sure.
Yeah, and and to a fault, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, Saf's like, I don't want the pep up speech right now,
He's like, but let me continue to talk at you.
No,
I have more to say.
there was like one point where like I think either my dad or my mom was like talking to Saf, and you're like, like Tyler's difficult. He's gonna need a lot of attention and a lot of interaction. I was like, okay, I can't really dispute that. So
I love it. Okay, next question is, what frightens Safiya the most?
Great.
And you can put out your guess.
my guess was spiders.
I said spiders, the dark, ghosts, demons.
Okay.
Yeah. Covering my bases there.
Loneliness.
I like that. I like that spider. So real thing.
Yeah.
Then straight to ghost. At no point were you like a robber, not like a human person.
No, that's scary too, but we have more like plans for that. You know what I mean? Like we've got like the bat under the bed.
That doesn't make
We,
sense
like,
to me, but I have friends that are exactly like that. Like the most macho guys in the world. They're like, yeah, if a guy broke into my house, I'm prepped. I don't
Yeah.
know what to do with a demon.
Completely. That is exactly how I am. Yeah.
Are you saying these aren't real, Phil?
Yeah, ghosts and demons. Yeah.
Like I prefer for people to tell me that ghosts and demons aren't real, because when people try and mess with me and they're like, oh, like there's a ghost in the house, I will get very angry at them because it'll get in my head then. You know what I'm saying? So I prefer the attitude that they're just not real. So I prefer to just be like denied to my face a lot.
Yeah.
It's like it's calming.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't believe in ghosts and demons outside of 24 hours after watching a really good horror movie.
Right,
And I'm
right,
like,
right.
and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die.
That's a healthier perspective. Yeah.
I remember watching The Ring when I was in high school, and then going home and unplugging my TV and my phone, like
Yeah.
being that genuinely scared. But then I don't know what happened. Yeah. Wait. So what did? Oh wait. So yeah, you pretty much matched up.
Yeah, spiders. Tyler's really, really good at bugs and spiders. Like,
Yeah.
like you know, like I think
Good
that
at
it's
'em.
a pretty traditional thing where I'm like just like I don't like them, not
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
them. But the thing about Tyler is he won't really kill them.
I don't like killing spiders. I don't
So
know.
he tries to
I was gonna
do
ask
the,
if
like,
you were like
a catch and release. But like I would prefer like a more just murdery approach.
just
But that's okay.
Visceral splatter.
Yeah.
Flick him out the door.
But there's also like I remember back in college there was like a spider in my dorm room once, and I was very scared, but then I like eventually got to the point where I could like smack it with a shoe, and I thought I killed it, and then like 3 hours later I saw it like crawling away. I was like, so I would prefer like full disintegration of this. I would prefer like the spider to be like
Wait,
dissolved.
So
Thanos
did you just maim the spider and you're like,
Yes.
I probably got it.
Yeah.
So much worse.
Yeah. So much worse.
Yeah, that you just flicked him outside.
No, then I have to.
When you're saying flick, you mean like
And what I do is I get a piece of paper, put him on it,
okay,
flick
and then-
him.
But he
And I
like
usually
talks
say,
to them.
"Good
He's
luck,
like,
buddy."
Hey, buddy.
I don't know. I mean, that said, recently we had a little bit of an ant invasion on our kitchen
Oh, yeah.
sink. And
And Tyler went full Rambo.
Rambo, yeah. I was just, I started like having like the internal narration. I was like, lost a lot of good men that day. Like I was kind of in the mind of like the queen ant. She's like, oh, we sent them all out there to get some bacon. But they were pissing me off, to be fair. Yeah.
yeah.
So
There's something about the size, I think, that you're just like, if you were a little bit bigger, I would
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I get
spiders
that.
like this, It's a good dude.
So then we're gonna switch it now. What frightens Tyler the most?
Okay. So what I said, what frightens Tyler the most, is like kind of a silly answer, but I think that this is kind of true. So Tyler watches a lot of the Dead Meat channel because he doesn't want to watch horror movies, but he kind of wants to know what happens.
Yeah.
So if he watches a scary episode of Dead Meat, then
Yeah.
he'll get really freaked out. And then for the next like 2 days, in the middle of the night, he'll wake me up to like go to the bathroom. with him.
Yeah.
But he's not usually like, I can't watch horror movies at all. Like
Yeah.
horror movies stay with me for the rest of my life. Like I watched 28 Days Later when I was 12 and I still am scared of it. Like I think of it sometimes.
Right.
But like Tyler can like handle it a little better, but I think he's in the same spot as you where like for a couple of days after a really scary one,
Sure.
he'll be like, stop.
The problem. Okay, so here's my problem. My children are very imaginative, but if you go into any horror movie, they're the ones that always like can see ghosts and stuff. And so I was talking to you. We got a new house. Every now and then, there's a phone in the house that rings. We don't. I think it's actually. I think what it is. It's like connected to
Throw the whole house away. Burn the house to the
what
ground.
I've told myself it probably is. It's somehow connected to like the security system. Or
Yeah.
there's
Right, right,
something.
right.
Yeah. But my son.
It's a fax from the beyond.
Yeah, my son said that he picked up the phone and he
Uh-oh.
talked to a ghost who said that he killed a guy in there, but it's okay. And I was like,
That's poltergeist, man.
Throw the whole house away. No.
and so it
No!
freaked Lindsay out to the point that she had like a friend come over. Like we don't.
Did you
believe
sage
in-
it? Did you sage the place? Did you call the vicar?
She had a friend come
you
over
throw
and
the holy
genuinely
water?
sage the place.
Every religious figure in there. Just get them all in there.
at
Line them
once.
up on the window.
And I was just
No.
like, no, it's fine.
Get a bunch of cats. They scare away the ghosts.
It's like he cuts to Phil like hammering. Wood planks over the door. No one's going in there. No one's going in there.
Wait, so what's the actual answer?
Oh, sugar.
Sugar scares you?
Yeah, because like basically my body can't do anything with it. It's not.
Tyler
I don't
can't process sugar.
I don't have diabetes, but like my body like literally doesn't know what to do with it. So if I eat sugar, I just crash. Like I fall asleep
In the middle of the day.
And so it scares me because it like so much stands in the way of us being able to do stuff. So like if I like see a donut, I'm like, dude, I really want that. But if I eat it, the day's over.
Like we like sort of recently figured this out because Tyler has a big sweet tooth, like, and has had one for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he would just like eat something sweet and then literally just like in the middle of the day like fall asleep. And then we went to see a nutritionist because we were like trying to like get in shape for the wedding. And he was like, you cannot eat sugar. Like you have to stop now. You have to stop yesterday.
Like he was like something like the number that like is like sort of starting to become the indicator for potential diabetes, like 250. It's like some like, cholesterol number. And he's like, you're 330. And so like you cannot do anything with this stuff. And so I've had to like cut it out. And it's been like an easy cut out of sugar because I'm like, it will wreck me.
Right.
But it scares me because it's like I don't want to eat it. It throws me off.
Yeah.
It like just knocks me out. It's like a very literal fear. It's like, okay, this is something that
That's
I
true.
will encounter
Probably
all the
better
time.
answer than my answer.
What would you write again?
Dead meat.
Oh no, but you know what though, and to your point, I mean about like the real thing that could be scary, like the Halloween movies scare the crap out of me because he's just like a really mean dude.
Just like a guy who like
conceit.
really wants to kill you.
He just kills a lot of people. It's
Yeah.
like they're like maybe he's like supernatural, but he's just a mean dude, you know?
So for the sugar though, so like if you use like a replacement, like something does that hit you the same way? Like if
He
like
doesn't.
a
Our
Splenda
nutritionist
S?
doesn't want us to use replacement.
Well, yeah, it's not a good thing in general.
I don't
but
even think I don't really like. I'm
I wonder
allowed
if it
to
would hit
have
you the
like
same.
I can do like some fruit. You know, like they give me
Yeah,
like
yeah.
smaller quantities. Like I just ate one of those like Justin peanut butter packets.
Yeah.
Like I'm allowed to eat some of it, but it's like it's like I don't go for like replacement sugars. Like I don't do like Diet Cokes or anything like
Right.
that. But it's like it'd be like if I ate like a voodoo donut, day over.
like
you
it's
know?
like I'm going to sleep. What would your ideal date be?
Who should go first?
Well, it's Valentine's Day, so
It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned that. It's not. This is
No, this is
obviously-
going to be up Wednesday.
Yeah, but today is Valentine's Day.
No, it's not. It's Wednesday.
not to timestamp you. No,
do you guys do anything for Valentine's?
I don't think we ever really have.
no, we'll have dinner.
Yeah.
but
One time we had like a fancy dinner.
yeah, we did.
Our first Valentine's Day was I was like up really late editing a video before we were even working on YouTube. Really, I was like trying to edit sketches for like my portfolio back in the day. And Tyler brought me a pressed juice and a flower, which was very sweet.
Did I? Oh yeah.
Yeah, charcoal
Yeah.
lemonade. I remember that.
I think they had the tack on flour. I think I got the pressed juice, and they're like, "Do you want to add a flour for like?" Okay.
Coming in clutch. I
Yeah, I'm
love
gonna
that.
win some brownie points here.
Yeah, we went to, but like one year we went to dinner, but like mostly not much.
It was expensive and bad. It was
That's
a-
the thing, though. We
Yeah.
always do something within like a 3-day window. So
that's
we're
fair.
not doing anything now, and we're gonna have like a 36 hours in Vegas, like that.
Oh, we love that. That's our
yeah.
favorite.
What do
Yeah.
you do in Vegas? You go to the clubs, or do you just
Go to
No,
the club?
so used to. Now I was like, I'm 34. If I get hungover, that can be a 36-hour experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't take care of myself. So no, we'll go out and then we try to hit up good restaurants that we've been looking for.
Do you like
and then-
giadas?
Say what?
Do you like giadas?
I don't think I've gone there.
Oh, you
Oh,
gotta
Yeah?
go.
I'm putting it on the list.
It's like
You gotta go.
hardcore Italian food.
Giadas is where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'll plan that on a night that I do not want to go out after.
Also, there's a dim sum place
Yes.
at Paris, the hotel.
Paris. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
they've got
good, yeah.
really good like fried
Yeah.
noodles. Really good.
We just walk around Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
but
just
then-
walk
and,
around, yeah.
And then for us, we like do shows. So it's like we're gonna
yeah.
go see Jim Jeffries, and then we'll probably do Top Golf there. We discovered that last time. We don't play golf, but it's fun. It's so fun. Have you guys ever played?
No.
You're like never would I ever.
No, my dad and my brother are into golf, so like by design, I'm not into it. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I'm not interested.
Not at all. That's too close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said Disneyland nighttime with the Europlace in DCA restored.
Oh my God, it's a
I
good idea.
love how specific that is.
Because this is some tea. I'm about to spill some tea.
It's a
no.
major
This is
transgression
not
by
tea.
Disneyland.
But
yeah.
I'm angry.
It doesn't
about
matter.
this.
It's still what I'm going to put at the beginning of the video.
This is the tea. I'm angry. So there used to be like in the back of Disney California Adventure, like if you walked all the way back to Paradise Pier, is that what it was called? They used to have like a Greek place, like Mediterranean skewer type restaurant, which had the best gyros. I mean, honestly, if you like gyros, it's probably not that good. But like when you're in like Disney for a long time, you're like, I could use a plate of meat right now. Like that was the place to go. And then someday, they replaced it with a burrito place.
Without cause,
without reason, without rhyme or reason. And I have nothing against burrito places. I'm a big burrito fan, but they already have a burrito place in
Like
Disney California Adventure.
150 yards away.
Literally
Typical
100
big
yards
burrito.
away. So there's 2 of them, and the gyro place is gone.
It's like a Starbucks thing. They have them on every corner. They have a burrito right there. And like, to be honest, this hero place, a little bit of sentimental value. Like we used to go there a lot. And it was like, can you mix it up just a little bit, something different. So
or at least if you put it somewhere else, change the old burrito place into something new.
So yeah, if you have a hankering for a hero and you're walking around Disneyland
cannot
California Adventure,
quench it at Disney California Adventure. You can no longer get
Let
the
it be
gyro
known.
there.
yeah. So that's a great date.
So that's my ideal date.
yeah. And then you know what?
Mostly the Euro place, though.
My answer is walking around Disneyland. So
Yeah.
I think we're in lockstep there.
Yeah.
Now the hero place restored. We're talking.
That would take it to the
now
next
we're in
level.
business. Yeah.
Is that something you guys can do and enjoy and not get super swarmed?
I think it just depends. We don't go on the weekends that much. We don't I think when it's nighttime, like it's usually like not a
harder,
big deal.
yeah.
I think that
Hard to
also
see.
if we if I'm not wearing makeup, we're just wandering around, like it's not that big of a deal. I think there was one time where we were filming at Disneyland when I was wearing like platform Crocs, and which put me like a head above everyone else, and it was like kind of the worst.
You're on stilts.
I was on like stilts. Yeah.
You might as well have like a sign that's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come over."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what your experience is when you're at Disneyland, but you're a really tall guy, right? I mean, so like they can see you.
Tyler wanted to work this in.
I wanted to work this in. So
Tyler wanted to let your viewers know that Phil is unexpectedly tall.
You're tall, yeah.
Oh, you thought I was gonna be like a shorter dude?
No, what I was actually going to say is I never really think about how tall people
He
are.
conceived of you as a legless being, as just like a torso.
But
He's like somewhere between 5'2" and 5'8". I don't know.
Yeah, but because we met you at VidCon a couple years ago,
Right, yeah.
And when I met, I was like, oh, Phil's a tall dude,
Yeah.
Now at the same time, we also met, and I didn't intend to work this in, but at the same time, we met Dan and Phil. Like when we were because we were kind of waiting to come up and say hi. We were with the Logicals or the Ben Logicals or whatever. Logicals,
The Logicals.
The
yeah.
Logicals.
And
The not logicals.
at the same time, Dan and Phil, like they're famous like British YouTubers, walked by, and they're like really tall.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're like basketball player tall. They're like incredibly tall.
They're like 6'7". Yeah. So I was like, whoa. And then like I saw you like, whoa, Phil's tall too. So, everyone's
so
tall.
big.
What? And that was so yeah. I'm just saying like maybe that's when you're taller. Saf was taller that one time with her platform Crocs.
No, I mean I think usually it's like not a big deal. Like I like meeting people. It's like not an issue. I think it's when we're trying to film a video and
Sure.
it's kind of like we're like filming and then like a mom will be like, "Hey, my kid knows ya." You know what I mean? I'll be like, "But we were in the middle of a shot."
Because at Disneyland,
We almost nailed it.
Yeah.
At Disneyland, the mom is like, you're just Mickey or Goofy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're dragging
Yeah.
their kid around. They're like in a bad mood. They're in like a bad mood, and they'll be like, I don't know you, but can you take a photo? It's like,
That's the worst way to come up to someone. But yeah.
okay, like
I mean, it's usually like our fans, people who come up to us, our viewers are like pretty polite. Like overall, we have a great experience. We love meeting people, but I think it's when it is a parent who's like teen is feeling awkward, who then is like, she's not going to come up and say hi, but I have no idea who you are. Who are you, by the way? She wants a picture. I'm like, this is a lot going on. Like, I will definitely take a picture, but I don't really feel like giving you the spiel. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
explain myself.
Yeah, I get that. Well, so for me, no, it's not. It doesn't end up being bad. I think it's just because, for the most part, my audience is like 18 to 35, and most of the time that I'm out, because if I'm not locking myself in a room to film, I'm with my kids, and so everyone's in general very respectful.
Oh,
so it's
good.
kind of like a hey and a point, not like
That's
not,
nice.
not-
You can
yeah.
kind of do like a wave. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, what was your worst date together?
I didn't have an answer. I couldn't think of a bad date that we really went on together, to be honest.
Okay.
I couldn't like pinpoint anything.
Got it.
But I wrote so I would say like 4 or 5 months into dating, we like went to Tahoe kind of with like some of like my old college friends. And we had like rented like a little A-frame cabin. It was like cute and fun. But when we were driving home all the way from Tahoe to LA, which is like how long is that drive?
That's like 8 hours.
It's like 8 hours in the middle of the night on the 5, like in the midpoint area, I would say. The mists that rise are like cow poop mists, basically. Wouldn't you say that that's pretty fair?
They're doogie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's the vibe. And so like in that area, and you can't even escape the smell even in your car. Like it's like that.
That one of those, yeah.
In that area, we were, and it's about an hour's worth of that, I would say.
Yeah.
I like very quickly and suddenly like developed the stomach flu, like out of nowhere. Do you remember that? Like we had to like stop for like ginger ale and Gatorade, and I was like feeling super sick, and so we had to stop in the middle of like the cow poop mists, and it was just like a real situation. And then I was sick for like 3 days after that.
It wasn't a great date.
Yeah.
So.
But it wasn't Tyler's
But it
fault.
wasn't, yeah. Mine is sort of similar, actually, in the same vein. It's what I've written as the Spitz incident.
Oh.
And
Spitz incident.
Spitz is, it sounds weird, actually.
I want to just give you a moment of appreciation. The number of times you've given quotes around things. I'm like, okay.
Give it some nomenclature. Yeah, there's a restaurant, good restaurant, great food. They got sort of like a Mediterranean/Greek inspired cuisine, and they have some kind of sauce, delicious. This is decently early on in our dating. It hit my stomach in a way that translated to some interesting sense. And it was extraordinarily pungent. And it was also simultaneously like the first time that I had, for lack of, better phraseologies, passed wind in front of Safiya. And it was endless. And it was also involuntary because I was sleeping. So it was just like one of those things where I woke up.
It was interesting because it was pretty bad, honestly. But I didn't know what to do because at the time I lived in like a 2-bedroom with like another girl, so I couldn't really like go anywhere else. I was like, this was my bedroom. So what I did was I, in protest, put a pillow in between us.
I woke up.
Okay.
Just because somehow that would help.
Because I woke up because it was stenchy, and then I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh, it's me.
And there was just like a pillow between us and a window open, and I was like, this isn't a great look." So that couldn't have been a good date. I don't think it was like obviously relationship detrimental, but it was somewhat relationship redefining.
What does Safiya complain about the most?
Late night questions. Safiya hates when I ask her questions about things late at night. So if I'm like, do you think this video's good? Do you think this frame makes sense? Do you think we're editing we're doing a good job? Because it's really late. You get that anxiety a little bit, that stress, and you're you're thinking about it, and she's just sort of can you not? We'll go on a walk to close out the night, walking around 1 a.m. and I'll be like, I just can't stop being sort of concerned about different elements of a video, and it's sort of can you stop doing that? Because I'm trying to unwind too. So I think that's what she complains about the most. And
I feel like a lot of your answers are connected to how much you talk and want to talk.
I think that's underrated. I think that the audience gets only a small taste of how much Tyler likes to talk.
I'm annoying.
No.
What can I say?
Someone's got a prompt,
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, this is the one I wrote just question marks because I couldn't think about.
Yeah.
I can't think about what I say. What do I even say ever? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's honestly what I would say is that you don't really complain all that much about things that I do. The other one would be
probably the laptop. Complain about the laptop the most,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
we learned that it was a sensitive point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does Tyler complain about the most?
All right. So I said that Tyler complains the most about the NBA / the Philadelphia 76ers.
And I wrote the Sixers plus Carson Wentz haters.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tyler is a big Philly sports fan. To the point where it's not just he's a rep Philadelphia thing. He's very, very deeply involved in the nitty gritty, the details of everything that's happening at all times. Every subreddit involved, he's always there.
It's degenerate.
He's always there.
Yeah.
He watches games no matter what's going on. And there was, I think, a playoff game last year that the Sixers were in, where one of their star players had gone to a fast food restaurant the night before and drank 5 milkshakes and had been
Allegedly.
had been
Allegedly.
tweeting about milkshakes, and then the next day had indigestion during the game and couldn't play. And
These are all theories.
I heard about this
The milkshake theory.
for 4 or 5 weeks after the Sixers had already been eliminated from the playoffs. We were still talking about the milkshakes that may or may not have been consumed.
He missed a layup that would have given him a 1-point lead, like late in the game, and then Kawhi Leonard, who like couldn't miss, made a 3 over his head. He's awesome. He's a great player, but it was like everyone can consider that. Like it was a weird thing that like he kept on having stomach issues, and we're like, what are you eating?
It seems like a simple thing to control.
Stop eating it. It's like, listen, I ate spits one time. I farted up a storm. I stopped eating it.
So wait, Carson Wentz hater. So what is your opinion then of like Foles?
No, he's cool. I like Foles. He's like
Tyler also does this thing to me where he'll make up nicknames for players, so like that aren't real. So he calls Nick Foles Nicky Montana.
That's cool. That's a cool name.
Do people? But
Is it just you though?
My dad and I call him Nicky Montana.
So like I'll know players by like names that no one has ever heard of before.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be vulgar here, but
There's the other one.
Nick's nickname is Big Dick Nick, BDN.
Yeah.
Right. So it's I don't know, but
So yours is very tame. That's you cleansing it.
Well, I like throwing the moniker Montana after a lot of things because it's like because Montana's like this great clutch, historically amazing quarterback. So you're like, oh, Nicky Montana. It's like a little bit of a because it was because Nick Foles played for the Eagles years ago and he was like good, but like no one really believed that he could win a Super Bowl or be that good. So my dad always called him Nicky Montana. Because like it was kind of like a little bit of like a
throwback.
Oh yeah, it was a little bit of like a snuff in my nose that people were like doubting him, you know. But like I think like Nick obviously he has a statue outside of the stadium, and he's obviously awesome, and he played like maybe the greatest game any quarterback has ever played in the Super Bowl. But I love Carson Wentz. He's awesome.
He just gets too much hate.
We've been watching this All or Nothing show, so I think Soft's been relating to it.
I actually agree.
Oh, okay.
In the
people
show,
are
basically,
really, it's a wedge issue for the Philly fans. So then, like a lot of people who want to like get ahead in the media can go really hard after Wentz because it like really bothers the Philly fans.
Yeah.
So they keep going after him. He's a really polarizing player, and there's so many layers. Like the Cowboys fans hate him, Dak Prescott fans hate him, the Foles fans hate him. Like he's injury prone. He was great. Like there's all these layers to it.
The last listed question that we have is, who is less likely to ask for directions when lost?
Okay, well, I said that I am less likely to ask for directions when lost because Tyler loves...
He's on board. He agrees.
Loves just chatting with people. Tyler, like when we're in like a store and like it takes me more than like 4 to 5 seconds to find something, he's like, just ask somebody. And I'm like, no, can I have like at least a chance to like orient myself and find it on my own? Tyler's much better at talking to people, I'd say.
I'm not sure it's talkative related as much as it is like impatience related. Like I'm really bad at reading instructions for whatever reason. Like I'm really like the guy like opens something, just tries to like figure it out.
Right.
So like when like you walk into CVS and like they have the things up there, I'm like, I'm not fucking reading that. Like just tell me where is it? I'm not good at that. That's one of my great weaknesses.
Yeah.
I will say though, having someone that will thrust themselves into a conversation and ask is so amazing because my wife and I are definitely both introverts, like horrified at social interactions with other people, and that's only
You're
really
doing pretty well
changed.
now.
Well, this is but I mean to use this is Disneyland. This isn't real life. If you guys didn't create on the platform or have like a job that I was interested in, or I didn't have like some knowledge of who you were beforehand, like you were in finance back in the day, right? I would have nothing to say. That is where I freeze up. This is easy. It's like it's real life, but it's not. I don't know. It's like that weird gray area. Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not always thrusting myself into conversations with people at CVS, but
No, he does, and he's good at it.
But yeah, I think Safiya is probably more introversive in general. And so I think that's like a little bit of like that balance thing, Now, like she's not introversive with me; she talks to me all the time. Obviously.
So this kind of makes me wonder. Then, if you guys weren't doing what you were doing now, would you kind of go back to your degrees, or what job would you have?
So I have a double major degree in theater and creative writing. So my idea when I first moved down to LA was that I wanted to be a TV writer, and I wanted to like do like the traditional like assistant route, like go work at a mailroom, get on a desk, get in a writer's room, get to be a staff writer eventually, that kind of stuff. Obviously being on YouTube is more creatively fulfilling than spending like 10 years trying to get to the creative job. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I guess if I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd probably be somewhere on that path, to be honest. I think I know a fair amount of like friends from college who are still on that path and doing that kind of thing. But like, I still think it's still in the entertainment industry. It's not like I would be, doing something entirely different. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a different vibe, more gatekeepers, harder to get there.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000%.
I did like econ. It's kind of like a throwaway major, I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's I did econ, and I was working I did like a pretty suit job at Disney out of college. It was cool. Like I was doing like finance stuff there, or like consulting work. It was actually like a rotation thing. And then afterwards, what I tried like an app for a couple years, because like 13, 14, 15, we went to school at Stanford. So like every kid's like doing an app or doing a startup. Like we were good friends. I was good friends with like the Snapchat guy, and I was like, okay, like they're all doing this stuff. Like I wanted to try something in that arena. So I tried it for a couple years, which was actually like great. It was a great crash course into digital, right? Because like it was like 14, 15, there had been people doing cool crap on digital for, years and years and years. And so it was a great primer, and it helped sort of us partially together because we worked on it a lot and we thought through use cases and what we were trying to do a lot. So we learned a lot about the space. Yeah. And it was, like, for instance, it's funny because we're pretty good friends with Matt and Stephanie from The Game Theorist. And Matt used to make like these meta theories about Facebook's retrospective versus the YouTube rewind and all this different stuff. And it was really meaningful for me to watch that kind of stuff while I was doing the product development and trying to think through some of the things that like people who were really close to it were doing. And so that's been it was really influential, and it helps affect sort of all the way to when we started the channel, as well as through working on the channel. Like a lot of these things that we learned and researched about have been relevant. So I don't know what I would go back to, because I really like doing this, and I think that, so it's tricky. Like, I mean, obviously I was.
Yeah. And the app stuff was like, it's one of those things where like, I think that we were just in Silicon Valley at the time when the bubble was at its height, where everyone was like, yeah, there's tons of money. You can get an investor right away. You'll do this. Look at Snapchat. Like, it was like that kind of vibe. Yeah. And so Stanford was definitely just like pushing everyone to do it in the hopes that like one billionaire would come back and invest in the school. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, I don't think that it's something that we would go back to, but it was definitely a good experience.
That sounds like it would be an amazing energy to be around, because it feels like there's genuinely no limits. Like, it's not like you're growing up and people are like, you can be anything. It's happening around you. That sounds amazing.
There's good and bad, because it's almost like you need to vet and think more. And it takes specific personalities that can handle that responsibility of funding and all that stuff. Like, a good example would be like Snapchat actually was able to manage their resources and like really build an incredible company, and that does take a unique personality that's able to achieve that. And so sometimes when you push too many people into it, it starts becoming somewhat unnatural and might not be the right thing for those people. And what happens is then they're taking someone else's money and they're not spending it wisely. Or like, there's a famous story about a guy who raised like a ton of seed money, which is like before they even priced the company. So he's not giving away any of his equity, and he raised like $25 million. And then he took photos of him like with $10,000 in his hand in Vegas. What's up? You're like, dude, like, that's a lot of money. I mean, you should be responsible here,
It was definitely interesting. And I think that it was definitely like the Kool-Aid at Stanford was like doing a startup, doing entrepreneurship. I actually, like, my junior year, like, got it. It's like at school you have to like you have to like basically live in like a shitty dorm like 1 year basically, but I got to live in a less shitty dorm because I said I was willing to live in the entrepreneurial dorm and like attend like startup seminars.
Yeah, it becomes like a meme.
Everyone was really into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so there's good and bad with it, and I think so I mean, and I think one of the problems is that sometimes people don't consider like traditional paths where they might get some training and some experience, and they thrust themselves into bad situations. Like, they'll like drop out at the wrong time, or like they'll work on a project that's not really that interesting, or they're not that passionate about, but they get into like the routine of like really hyping it up. Be like, this is my passion. It's like, because they're gonna fund you, right? It's like, it's not because you really care, you know?
People think that like getting funding is like the end point.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Versus like, well, now you have to make money, or like the other thing is like people's ideas are like, it was just one of those things where like, I think what it was is they were just pushing everyone to do it because they were hoping for like that one guy who would come back and build the building. You know what I'm saying?
Which they're going to have.
Which, of course, they're going to have, right?
Yeah.
But I think that there's a fair amount of people who like were just like sort of like really excited about it at the time, which made sense. It was like a really exciting thing. But then obviously like the landscape changed, you know what I'm saying? Like people realized that like ways they were making money, like they couldn't make money, sort of investors started being like more like nervous. So I think that, I think it's a little less like hype than it was before.
It's how bubbles work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But that space, it feels like it would be so hard to then try to adapt because to what you said, things change so fast. It bursts. I mean, I remember when Musical.ly was considered a joke to so many people, and then it was like there's a transaction and then one push, and all of a sudden it's the thing that's going to create this now generation of creators. It's interesting how it changes. So I can't even imagine having to try to adapt to that.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, I think that there is a challenge with digital. I think in that like where it's a cool industry. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, and like in Silicon Valley, they're always talking about like disruption, like what's going to change the world. And it's like, you know, like YouTube's like really, really disruptive, you know, and Musical.ly is really, really disruptive. And then sometimes I think that kids who have taken this like pseudo traditional tech route are kind of like, they're kind of blind to it because it's sort of like, well, that they're just like doing videos or vlogs or whatever that is. And they kind of like don't understand that in even tech, the space that they want to be in, that's the bee's knees. Like Wired used to write articles, or like TechCrunch writes articles about everyone but YouTube, right? Because this is going to be the disruptive one. You're like, no, you guys already have the disruptive one. That's the exciting one, you know, because people are building businesses off of this stuff. So I think that sometimes that would be one of the criticisms. They should open up and sort of recognize that that's a cool space sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that also in that same turn, like digital already has like really big companies.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about like investors and stuff, and this is mostly just conjecture, but like they don't really want to invest in a company that's going to try and disrupt the company they've already invested in. You know what I'm saying? It's like there are already really huge companies that exist in Silicon Valley that own a lot of the like talent, you know what I mean? Like they've hired a ton of engineers like straight out of school, you know what I'm saying? Like hoping that they'll work on their app and not their own app and that kind of thing. So I think that it's an interesting space. But basically we're trying to say we came out at a time where they were like, go do it.
Yeah.
With like no
I think one of the interesting things to me right now is the locking down of people on platforms, right? Because obviously everyone like thinks about it from the streaming standpoint of right Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Facebook to a certain degree.
Did you see recently that Adam Sandler got paid like buku money, like $215 million?
As much as he gets shit on outside of the Uncut Gems, like he pulls in eyes.
No, yeah,
crazy. He's like one of the most viewed people on Netflix.
But it sounds like that they're entering a new era where they're
locking
really
down
trying
talent.
to keep
But even
people.
It's now I think like even in the podcast space, that's what I was like trying to think of. Like the Ringer Network just got bought for what, $250 million.
I was talking to Saf about that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a Boston fan, so you know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like I was talking and we were like we need to start the podcast.
That would be more reasonable.
Actually, kind of on that note, I know we talked a little bit about it both before we started. What do you think you do from here? Like, because you guys are in an awesome space, right? Of you know, I would say what you post about twice a month, right?
Yeah.
That feels great, killing it. What are you hoping to try and do over the next year, and then kind of following that?
Totally. Well, I think that we've been working on our own independent channel for 3 years, a little over 3 years. The first year was definitely like sort of a mad rush. It was a complete mad rush. We were like sort of, you know, like the channel was a wild horse dragging us behind it. You know, it was the kind of like that. 2018, we were kind of trying to figure out, like evolve our content to something we were more like proud of, take our time more, make sure like every video was thought out. I think we did a really good job with that. 2019, we basically, and I am so proud of every video we made, but we kind of made like two mistakes. One was that we went on like this long East Asia trip, and then like we got all these videos out of it, which I loved, but they were so hard. You know what I mean? They were so hard to figure out. So it took us a really long time to make them. And it was like sort of a longer stretch than we had intended. So we were just like sort of in those videos for a while.
And for the audience, it wasn't getting mixed up. It was like, you know, 6 videos over like 3 months, you know, and they're, again, we love them, but they were really, really challenging. And then I'm not trying to cut Safiya off, but then what happened next is we jumped into this ColourPop collaboration that we had been working on.
And then we got married right after that.
Yeah.
So it was like a thing where we were like, oh yeah, like this is going to be awesome. And then we were like, wait, to really do these videos how we want to make them, like it's going to take longer than we thought. And then now we're literally knocking on the door of the wedding, which was like a different dynamic where it was like, well, not only is it like an event that we have to like plan, and you know what I mean. It's also like there's a lot of emotions associated with it, and like it's different than like producing a video. You know what I mean? Like it is like a more sort of like personal thing. So it's not like so it was one of those things where it's like we kind of gotten this thing. I think that where there were like we did almost bit off more than we could chew in some ways.
Like 3 times.
Like 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
basically.
Just on top of each other.
Yeah.
Well, because like the collab itself was like, it was very new experience. You know, like we had done merch here and there, and all of a sudden it's like you're doing a makeup collaboration. You want it to be great. You know, there are challenges with like customer service and how you handle that. There's different emotions. There's a lot of
competition and like cutthroatness in like the beauty world, which is like a space that we're sort of adjacent to. We're not like really 100% into it.
Have you felt any of that?
Not really, like personally, like not
Sure.
like on our channel or anything like that. We are like I said, like I think we're like beauty adjacent. We're not like really in the beauty space,
right?
But like coming out with the makeup product, like then you're like sort of jumping into it, you know, like you're plunging into it a little bit, at least with that product. So that was kind of nerve-wracking. So basically that's all to say that this year, so like our 4th year on YouTube, we're trying to like settle in a little bit, not take any big trips, not go, I mean, you know, loved VidCon Australia, but not go to VidCon Australia, because that happened to us in 2018 where we like committed in February to go in September. We're like, that sounds so fun. And then like August 31st came and we're like, tomorrow we're going to Australia.
That happened. We're like, you know, we're going to Australia this week. And it was for like 3 days. It was like really
we
fast.
And it was just one of those things where it's like we were like so disoriented. And so basically, I think that over the last couple of years, it's been learning to say no to some things, learning to like not to try not to bite off more than we can chew. So this year we're trying to like settle in, not trying to like do like
adjust the content,
but just trying to like
are.
Stay in our house. You know what I mean? Like not put any harsh deadlines.
Yeah.
We have a second channel that's just been like Tyler Williams' channel.
Yes.
But we like, you know, it's both of us working on both channels.
Yeah.
So it's not like his channel or my channel. It's like the main channel and sort of like the second channel.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to like post more to the second channel. We're trying to like maybe like balance out the content a little bit more. So like keep up the content that's on the main channel, maybe do a little bit like less production intensive videos in the second channel kind of thing. Yeah. We're trying to like settle in.
We're trying to diversify, do different things, get it into like, get some consistency. Kind of feel like we're really like, you know, just knocking out just making good solid contact. You know what I'm saying?
With like exactly. We're trying to like hit a bunch of like singles in a row.
Or doubles.
Or triples.
I mean, like the video ideas are still really fun and great. I think that when you get these blocks of content where you really want to unwind it, like we actually had to punt one of our Asia videos to this year because it was like we just couldn't get through them all, and the wedding had a similar dynamic, is that like it kind of you can't be as quite as opposable. Like so if something jumps into your head, or if there's something that you could be sort of opportunistic about, or something that you're excited about, then you have to kind of tier it after a lot of other work. And so that can be kind of tricky.
It seems like it would be a good idea, especially if you're talking about it taking less time, because even let's say it gets lower numbers as far as views, as far as the amount of time dedicated to that video compared to the views it gets, it's probably higher, right? To a certain degree, even if it was like it got a quarter of the views. You know,
there's not a pure correlation too. It's like you know, some of the videos that we were working on, especially so for instance, like with like the Asia content, like it's really fun and it's like very different. We try different things, but some of them can be sort of maybe they market a little different. Like one of these videos we went to a cheese theme park in South Korea, which was super awesome. There's not a lot of cheese content on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
so it doesn't have a lot of high SEO, I would say.
Yeah,
so
right.
like though. I'm very pleased with how it did.
I love the
didn't
video.
necessarily like explode. You know what I'm saying? Like some other videos that are in spaces that have more related videos, suggested videos, things like that. So I think that we try and not, no matter how we think it's going to perform, we try and make successful videos, obviously, but like no matter how we think it's going to perform, we try not to short videos like their production. Like we want to make sure every video is as good as we can make it.
Yeah.
Basically. But I think that this year we're just trying to like not decrease our expectations for the content in terms of quality, but just like settle in. You know what I mean? Just like mostly no travel, no weddings.
That's actually the simplest way to put it. It's just like the kind of, well, because I think that, and also to the VidCon point, sometimes, and I'm sure maybe you've experienced this, like when you commit to one of these things, then you the
worst is you commit to something, they announce you're like, oh, I don't know if I can go. And then you get a tweet like, oh my God, I just bought my ticket just to see you. And you're like, now I cannot, you know what I mean? So I think that it's one of those things where it's like, we would never have dreamed of like not going to Australia once we had like committed.
Yeah.
But it was the thing where we woke up and we're like, now to Australia. today to Australia.
But no, I think that like saying no to stuff for yourself is such a big thing. I mean, I didn't go to VidCon for the first time last year, and I had to say it pretty much for an entire year because my team was like, no, the benefit for it, go. And I was like, no, I go there, I get sick every time. We stop producing content.
But you are very in demand at VidCon.
You're popular.
You're very popular.
Really?
Yeah, you're very popular at VidCon.
In a good way. I mean, like,
We had to wait in line to talk to you at VidCon.
But how many years ago was that? That was like,
No, that was like
that's 2 years ago.
2017, 2018.
Well, it's funny because we were
Was 2018
recollecting.
the one with the bouncy house?
That was last year.
wait, did I see you at the Bounty House? The last one I went to was the one where they had the obstacle course, which was amazing.
Like Tyler always talks about how you like lapped him in it or something.
No, what I
You were
talk about is that I noped out. I tried to do it and I had to get out because I was like in terrible shape. And then you came up like 10 minutes later, you're like, I just did the bouncy house. Like I got it done because like, my team was here. So I had to like nail it. And I was like, dude, Phil, you powered through.
I did, no, I could, well, it was.
Phil's in great shape, man.
Phil's amazing shape.
No, I was in horrible shape, but I was like, I can't have my teammate or my team dunk on me. I was like, I need to, I need to follow through. But it was also so fun because like when, as a 30-year-old man, am I gonna just have a bouncy house obstacle course?
Yeah.
I think that thing was also unexpectedly like lengthy.
Dude, I
yeah.
no, because I went in
Right?
against
To go
Matt.
through it, it was like 10 minutes. I think someone got through it fast and it was 5 minutes.
That's
You know what I hated
that's too
about
long.
that?
Yeah.
Was that there would be like these kids that are like from like TikTok who are like they do backflips and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'd be
Yeah.
like just like like parkouring through, and I was like, dude, you're making me feel so bad right now. I can't even look at this thing without sweating. No, there's one year that we went. It's funny because it's in context with like the logicals, right? We were hanging out and we saw you and we're like, oh, let's go up to talk to Phil. And remember, because we were kind of standing around and waiting to talk, and then we ended up having a great conversation. It was really fun. And I think that you guys had like a vlog that you guys were filming at the same time. And the guy was standing behind us and he's like, oh, like Phil's talking to the last people here. Like, we got to get the hell out of here. I don't know who they are. And I remember
Who are these people?
Who the hell are these
I gotta go
guys?
back.
These nobodies.
And that's probably. I bet that was Joe. Joe's vlogs were just him trolling.
Yeah, and Ben, I remember Ben Logical, like we watched it together, and Ben was like, let's take a snap story and send it to them. I was like, okay, yeah. It was like, because like, it was like people were like, you don't know who they are. And it was just funny because
Yeah,
it was like,
it's
yeah, I mean,
definitely
like out of context, it's a long day. Everyone's standing on their feet filming and stuff, so.
Yeah.
What so we kind of talked when you said that you make videos kind of that you would want to watch, but after you make them, how much thought is put into like the marketing, or even like you could associate the title and thumbnail and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you dedicate to it, and do you have a system in place, or you just go like I don't know?
Title, I would say, is something that we have in mind the whole time, or
Okay.
we're trying to like, I call it like a frame. I'm trying to like figure out like what is the way to frame this topic that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? The thumbnail, we're so bad at.
We do it like while we're exporting.
Yeah, we're so like, I think that it's weird because it's so important, you know what I mean? But it's just like the way we've always done it. And
Yeah.
so many other people have like dedicated people who work on the thumbnail, or they
Sure.
like have such a plan for it. And like, I feel so underprepared every time. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even that good at Photoshop, but I still make them, you know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, cut out the face. Okay. Something there. Hey, I don't know. Yeah.
And it's basically just like stuff like, what do you think? I'm like, looks good.
I
like,
But then
like
we'll
it.
do
I
that
don't
thing
know.
where we post it and then I'll look at the thumbnail for 5 minutes. I'll be like, I hate it. And I got to go back and work on it even while like the video's up. You know what I'm saying?
it's not a great structure.
No, we
Yeah.
could do better for
No,
sure.
I've been saying it for like a year because I heard there was like a small program. They need to allow us all to A/B test.
But the thing about the A/B test, because I was talking to the YouTube engineer at
Sure.
Creator Summit, and they were working on the A/B testing. The thing about the A/B test is I want to know in like 3 or 4 hours. And he was like, after like a week, they'll tell you we'll give 50% this one, 50% that one. After whatever 6 days,
What
we'll
does
tell
that do
you.
for me?
And I'm like, no, but then
Okay,
I can't change my thumbnail to be the better one.
So I guess so because I know that maybe it was more people that I know that work on Facebook because
Oh, got it.
they like know how like in the first hour what's
Yeah.
hitting and what's not. But that wouldn't work for you. But for me, like if I have a month, I have 20 pieces, like 20 data points.
Got it.
Right. So that's where I would be like, okay, now I know what people are clicking because I have zero clue.
I mean,
Zero.
it would still help for like future, I
Yeah.
guess, like future thumbnails, sort of like just so you can see sort of like what people like. But I think then the idea that 50% of people saw the thumbnail that was not good is also not the best feeling. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We want to indulge in the knee jerk.
Yeah.
Right? We want the fast reaction, you know? There's not a lot of logic that's going on when you first post and you're looking at the thumbnail and everything's going through your head. It's like, is my face bright enough? You know, does that background make sense? You know? And like, there's like a new like widget that like tells you the relative comparison of your videos and stuff. And it's like
hour by hour
You're
compared.
talking about YouTube Studio.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hour by hour compared to like your top 10 videos or something. And
The
you're
last
like,
10.
or
Yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah.
you're like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
It's a completely different day. It's a different subject.
It just completely controls your
different
emotions.
time.
Yeah.
We had the worst experience because one of the videos we did, we changed the thumbnail and it like went from like 30% underperforming to 48% overperforming. And you're
So
like,
now we think
oh
we
my
can do
God,
that
it
with
can
every
work.
video. So now we like sit there and we're like, change the thumbnail, like watch the real time. Does it go up? Does it go down?
Yeah,
How are we
it's
doing?
just so it's
If they're
so
gonna
toxic.
do it, they need to like turn on notifications specifically for it so that we don't just watch it.
Well, I also don't like the editorializing of it. Like it would be one thing if it was like just numbers, but they'll be like, maybe you tried something new and it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like they'll say things, like they'll give you like notifs and
Yeah.
you're like, why? Go, you don't understand me. Leave me alone.
Oh my God. But like the highs of when you see, oh, this is a 1 out of 10 video.
Yeah.
But then the lows of this is the worst performing video you've had in 10 videos. It's
Yeah.
like,
It also like doesn't mean anything. Like one of the videos, like that soap video, for instance, we posted was like 9 out of 10 for the first couple hours, and it's over time been like a very successful video.
So like sometimes for us, it doesn't really like the
mean
first
anything.
24 hours doesn't mean anything because like over time it'll get caught in like an SEO thing where like people will find it. You know,
or if
like,
it's just like it's just
Right.
months
inherently
later.
interesting, but it's not like,
It, like,
you gotta go
grows
watch it this
slowly over
second.
time.
Yeah.
so that was so alien to me until we launched the podcast, because for my video, like my main news videos, it's 24, 36 hours. That's all the views. For these, it's like we get 1/10 of the views in the first 24 hours, and then it goes into recommended, and then that's when they like blow up.
Yeah,
which
totally.
but that's nerve wracking. Not
Totally.
knowing for how long. I'm like, okay, is this?
You have to be zen. Yeah, you just have to.
Yeah. Not that we're zen.
I was like,
We're not zen.
I was like, because it sounded like you guys were watching how it's doing. For
We
2
grit our
hours.
teeth. We're like, the views will come. Hopefully.
We had one year where we
Cross
like
your fingers.
We had like kind of like a rule. It's like don't check any of the real time performance stuff
Sure.
for like the first ever. You know, like I was gonna say first 24 hours. It was almost like just ever. Just don't look at it because like it's not productive. You should just move on.
But it's also one of those things where I think the new widget has really like ruined everything for us.
Supercharged it.
Because like if we see things like with no context, I would probably be happy. I'd be like, that's great. That's awesome. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like whatever. But then when they like have the like red arrow, you're like,
you know, it takes a thing that is very, you know, in some ways like flattering and like awesome and exciting. Like the viewership is like, oh, that's great. And they then kind of put a spin that makes you feel like less good about it, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because if you put a lot of time into it and it really means a lot, then especially because we don't have a super high post frequency. So
Sure.
like then the posts feel super loaded every single time. And so then that is an arena you don't, it's hard to balance. You don't want to
Yeah.
be in that arena because it can be it can be toxic for lack
Yeah.
of other phraseology.
But it feels like it hasn't locked you into only the things that have worked before, which is good, because it feels like it would lead to that.
we try not to listen to the analytics too much. Obviously, we want to like follow, like we want to make videos that people like and want to watch. Like we don't want to like do something like completely random just for our own like artistic feeling. Like we like making, you know, videos that people like and
Right.
people want to watch.
And we like the videos we make a
Yes,
lot. Like
and it's
Saf
like-
is right. It's the things she's interested
they're
in. so-
very like creatively fulfilling for us, but we try not to like specifically with like the watch time duration stuff because like for all of our videos we have like an outro or a conclusion at the end, which is usually like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. And obviously like that is where like the, you know, generally I don't know how it is for your videos, but like our view duration is pretty like steadily, slowly like declining at like a sort of soft angle. And then when we start the outro, people are like, oh, the video's over,
Yeah.
whatever. And so like sort of analytics would say, well, stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like keep them there. They don't want to see that. But for us, it's like, well, then we don't complete the thought. We don't like we have post
Yeah.
questions in the beginning. We don't get to finish it. We don't get to finish the story.
which
and
is
all that
fun.
kind of
And I
stuff.
think that
so like
people appreciate that.
exactly. I don't think that we try not to like give that too much
I do.
wait.
That makes me wonder if how videos would perform if you just abruptly ended. It was like you kind of hit a point and you're like, okay, bye. And then you kill it as far as watch time all the time.
There are, I think, certain people who I think might do it here
Yeah.
and there, and I
Yeah.
think it might help in some ways, but I
Mm.
think that in terms of developing sort of like that relationship with your audience, in terms of completing the thought, so they know how we feel about something, even if it's not analytically optimized. I think we really try to not make it robotic. We have to keep our subjectivity and our opinions. Like again,
Sure.
like the true north is never like look at SEO, never really look into like what are trends that we're seeing algorithmically. Like we find things that are interesting to us, and then and Saf is the due north on that. And then I I'll pepper in some takes here and there, and so we try to just find things that we think sound fun or exciting, and that's how we approach it. Because when you go down the path of the machine, like you then develop expectations that are based on where they can't account for the creative inputs really. Like they don't.
Yeah.
They're telling you the end results, and you got to figure out the initial sort of thought process on your own. So I think it's important not to let that stuff be sort of constraining and restrictive and emotionally constrictive. So we're trying to find ways to work around that.
It sounds like when you're talking about the SEO and like getting people to watch it versus you kind of having that community aspect, it sounds very much like the pull of new viewership versus the stickiness, right? It's like you, the personality at the end of it. I love that. That's great. Kind of last thing, because wow, 90 minutes has gone by very, 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 very fast.
Oh, look
Damn.
at that.
Yeah. One of the ways I always love to close out the show is getting like if you have the best advice ever given to you, or advice you think, oh no, you got very wide-eyed. You're like, oh no, or you have advice that you think would have been beneficial for you, maybe growing up or getting started with this or anything. I always kind of want to give people the opportunity because sometimes people just don't share because they feel like it's unsolicited.
I'm not good at this, and I don't think either of us are good at this, but it is something that was important for me is to turn into the skid. Things that freak you out might make you nervous. Not like about like spiders, but like things about maybe like career or like what other people are doing is to approach what they're doing with an open eye, So like there might be industries or spaces where people are doing stuff and you don't have to replicate what they're doing, but to just at least be knowledgeable and not approach it with biases, right? So a good example is like when people were doing like Vine. A lot of people are like, well, Vine, whatever. Like it's just like a bunch of little kids over there. And it's like, well, it's really interesting. Like they're doing a lot of stuff. People are working really hard. They really care about this. So I think trying to learn about that. TikTok's the same thing. Like you can be dismissive, or you can kind of turn into the skid and be like, this kid's hyper popular. Just because you don't know or what they're doing doesn't mean it's not popular. And that can apply to a lot of different stuff in like school, education, as well as when it comes to like business or career, what you might want to go down. So it's don't be afraid to turn into the skid, because it's really scary to hear someone's doing something better than you. They're doing a better job with college prep. They're doing a better job for choosing their courses with post undergrad occupation. They're doing a better job than you. It's like, well, then if that scares you and you care, then try to figure it out.
Love that. Yeah.
That was pretty good. I don't think I have literally anything. What?
Has anyone ever given you like a piece of advice that stuck or was horrible and then you went the other way?
I don't know. Ty, help me.
I think that Safiya has always been someone that has like a really, really strong internal drive. And I think that
That's very nice. Is that advice to people?
No, but so I think that it might be like, it's like you're not that strongly influenced by exterior opinions. Like so
Well,
it's not something you really grapple to.
I think that I don't know if this is going to be able to be contextualized in anything that we've talked about today. So this is just like off the top of my head. I feel like, because honestly, yesterday, Tyler and I were asking each other questions, like hypothetical questions that Phil could ask us tomorrow. We were like asking each other questions, like mock interviewing, honestly.
I'll sit in the bath.
Yeah. This is while Tyler was in the bath. And I was like, Tyler, I'm nervous.
Yeah, no, we were both nervous. Yeah.
And we were thinking a lot about like how we got into YouTube and stuff like that. Because we thought maybe you might talk about that, but that's okay. We're good about it. We don't need to talk more about that.
No.
Yeah, we're good.
You're like, I killed a man and took his channel.
Well, yep, I was about to say that. I think that when I was growing up and I wanted to do like a sort of creative career, I was told a lot by people to have like a backup. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, like, do it on the side, have like a main career, like do it, like people, for some reason, my grandmother, great lady, very old, bold Indian woman, told me that she would always tell me that Condoleezza Rice was a concert pianist as a hobby. She was like, and then her main job is being Condoleezza Rice. And I was like, cool, good example. But I think that something that is, though, and I think that there's also a lot of talk about like like every kid like wants to be a YouTuber, you know what I mean? Which is like a sort of unrealistic career goal, is like to be a YouTuber and stuff like that. But I think what's underrated by people who say that kind of thing is that you can make a career doing something even if you're not like the Britney Spears of it. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you're not like the the star, the person who like, gets to be on
stage
Ben
dancing.
Affleck or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think that there are so many creative careers out there that are possible in industries that people are like kids are interested in, that you don't have to like. I think that the idea of having a backup plan is fine, but you also like don't necessarily. There are many other things to do besides.
There's many different hats to wear.
There are many different hats to wear in creative industries. So I think that that's something that over time, I've learned.
I mean, like advertising is a great example, right? Like it's like, people live in Madison Avenue and do advertising.
Or
it's
like
a great career and you learn a lot.
Producers, executives, writers, directors.
There's a lot of stuff, like you can be a grip, you can be a cinematographer, photographer. There's a lot of stuff, like there's people who do like wedding photography, like just be
that's a
open-minded.
good business, man.
It's a great business. People really need wedding photographers and they make a lot of money.
I feel like 50% of people that have a wedding are like, I should do that because that seems like a really sweet gig.
Yeah. So I think that there may be, my advice is that there are more creative careers out there than I think that naysaying relatives think there are.
And was part of that as long even if you were moderately successful at something, that can still be amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of what I mean. I think not even just moderately successful. I think that like sort of people sort of look down upon creative pursuits thinking that like, well, if you're not like the pop star, then you can't be successful at it. It's not a career.
If you're just throwing out a random number, top 100,000 of something that makes you happy or fulfilled, that's huge. I used to care 10 years ago about being like top 100 on YouTube. As long as I'm top 50,000, I'm loving life. It's great. I don't need, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to also kick the door down first. Mm-hmm. That's my big thing.
Well, I think another thing is that with entertainment industries in general,
did that make any sense?
No, I think so.
Was that okay?
I think you had like two main points. I just wanted to clarify
on the one.
Did it make sense in
the middle?
No, I think it did. It did. Yeah, no, we got there.
There was a whole part where I was like, what? No.
I blacked out?
No, I got you're like Will Ferrell in Old School when he blacks out and he's just like, oh, sorry, I don't remember. No, but I had one follow-up and it's just that like, I think a part of like any industry, like a good example would be finance, where like, it was an investment banker versus like a sales and trader versus like a capital markets person. Same thing goes with entertainment, where there's a lot of different roles. And if you want to be involved in entertainment, you don't have to only be the person that's on stage or on camera. And what's important then is to not be outright dismissive of that entire space and try to educate yourself about what are the different positions. Like there are agents, there are managers, there are people who do a lot, editors and stuff, and they get really good sort of multivariant applicable experience, like marketing. You could probably take that and go to a corporation, do that kind of stuff. You could write copy, you could be a copywriter, and there's all this different stuff you can learn and get good experience doing. And so I think that like it's not just I want to be in entertainment. You're Britney Spears or you're nothing. You could be someone that is a part of a big production, and that's also good experience that is then something you can build on. Because like a lot of kids, like I did finance to start my career. Like I'm not doing a lot of finance right now, So like, and that's what most people who do finance are doing, is they're starting there to leapfrog into other stuff, And that, again, you don't have to just go, you don't just have to be the person in front of the camera. You can do a lot of other stuff, and that's cool. Yeah.
Wait, because I was gonna close it. You guys were nervous to do this?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like shocking to me because you guys are like, you're a very big deal. Like you're crushing it. Why would you be scared about this?
Well, so we watched like some of your episodes before this, like sort of refreshed ourselves on the format and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't have a good story, man. Like I don't have like a good, like we started doing this and then we did this. You know what I mean? Like I don't have.
Christine has good answers.
Christine has really good answers. This is
cool
really how
answers,
I feel. Like she's got like this cool path, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, my path ain't cool, man. So I was really nervous that we were going to like talk about that and I was going to ramble about something random and it wasn't going to be a good answer.
Okay. And I'm not going to dismiss the feelings because whenever
we were really nervous.
Whenever
Tyler
I go
was
on
nervous
stuff,
too.
I'm like, especially because your whole life you have control now. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and so I think that's why whenever I like end it, I'm like, I really appreciate it. I get that leap. And so that's why I wanted to kind of to hear
we
why.
were really nervous.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
Did we do okay?
Yeah. Did we do okay?
I think yes.
Did we say things that were interesting?
Yeah, I loved it. This is like one of my favorites.
Do you say that to everyone?
No.
Yes.
I was like, I don't think I do. I was like, we'll go back to the tape.
Yeah, put the like the montage of Phil saying that right
Yeah, right
here.
there.
That was one of my favorites. That was one of my
Exposed.
favorites. That was one of my favorites. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I really loved
Thank
it.
you for having us.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everyone knew that we were nervous.
Yeah.
We were scared. Excuse our
That's
behavior.
why my throat was seizing up. I'm joking.